What's going on, guys? My name is Matt Omega, and welcome back to Submachine Legacy, where today we will be finishing things up as we tackle the final piece of side content in the game, Priority Assignment Shattered Quadrant. Basically, Submachine Universe. Alright, so we start here in... I don't think they're exactly like the quarters that we started in at the start of Universe, but it's basically the same thing. So, the lab facility 32M, coordinates 000. I don't think these shells have anything, but right off the bat, we pick up a transporter ticket and a makeshift arc breaker. It's soap. It's soap. If you recall, we did use soap to shut off a few contraptions originally, but we got a whole bunch of these transporter tickets here, taking us to various different locations throughout the subnet. So we're not using the old 3-digit portal that we used to. We're using this thing instead, where basically we got these punch cards and we can just take them all around. So our first destination here is the Ancient Section Side Aisle, otherwise known as the Zero Depths, coordinates 601. The little pony thing here. Now, we briefly saw this right after I finished Zero, when I was showing off that these monoliths exist and what they do. Because we hadn't activated the one that correlates with this one, the spikes were spiking. But now they are not. Like I said, by activating all the monoliths, we are now able to completely explore all of the observable subnet cluster completely unimpeded. We are going to need to pick up a dragon tongue from somewhere, so we'll keep a note of that. That is one thing I do really miss, though. We don't have a handy-dandy notebook, so we can't make notes within here. And look, it's a pretty simple thing. You know, just to have a thing where you can just add like basic little text notes and all that, but in a game like Universe, which is entirely based around exploration, analyzing your environment, and it being really easy to forget where things are and even miss some things, even a basic text tool like that is an incredibly powerful tool. The reasoning. Why did monoliths start taking the place of transporters? Isn't that kind of obvious? Well, at first glance, yes, they were using existing teleportation infrastructure to further the reach of the monolith grid. But why would the net use crude ways of infestation? There was a time when Shiva tried reasoning with humans. She was trying to see order in chaos, value in human design. You could say she was following in human footsteps. So these monoliths, well, it's basically Shiva's own way in copying our own methods of traversing the subnet. Maybe someday, I don't know if that day has already come, but if it hasn't, hopefully someday us in the subnet can finally see eye to eye and become something a bit more harmonious. Anyway, we picked up another transport ticket, which one was that one? It was the right side of the rift ticket. But next we're going to go into the next one, basically in the order here, the human-machine data sharing interface. Bit of a mouthful there, otherwise known as the Clockwork Corridor, previous coordinates 011. Insert ticket. In case of power outage, do not insert ticket. Okay. But there's the old portal. There it is. How's it going, buddy? Wait. Infestation node. Yeah. Yep. Because again, these were viewed by the subnet as a method for the human infestation to spread. So yeah. So that's the carrier, the transporter. Void access. Nice. And portal stabilizer prototype. Seen a couple things like this around, but up here we do have a karma portal. This is a brand new location here. We still have a little cat statue with an M. This we're going to need to remember for later. But we're done in this location for now, so next on the list, the pre-shift transit station. Otherwise known as the Ionic Portal Hub, previous coordinates 523. Need a weight stone, which we are conveniently sitting right there. You might remember this one, we had to activate a ladder in another place to go up here, and there were a whole bunch of different karma portals up there, just waiting for us to traverse through and explore. But that turns off those spikes, giving us a plasma vial. Which, again, is all we can really do for now. So, we're going to head to the next location, the Stone Waterfall. Otherwise known as the Kent Falls Room, previous coordinates 232. There are people who question the validity of SubNet exploration. They say any mapping effort is futile because it's been proven that not only particular rooms, but entire regions can shift during the phase change. Then there are others who just live by the code of an exploration team. All this talk is shifts. As we go through the Shattered Quadrant, we're going to be hearing a lot more about it, but I think we're determining that shifts, phase shifts, whatever, basically the subnet is just constantly changing in some way for some reason, but there is change going on everywhere. Also, as should be blatantly obvious here, the things that we can read around the universe sections here are no longer the old fan theories. No, they're actually all in-game lore stuff. Well, that needs a vial of something, just not plasma. And we head up to the other side here, which leads to the Edge Filtration Corridor, area code PBU, which you can't really do anything in until we actually activate the filtration system. So, that's enough for us there. The next one's the right side of the roof, but we picked that up later, so I'm just going to go straight to Murtaugh's Observatory Unit. Previously called Murtaugh's Communication Room, coordinates 355. Little disc or something up there on the wall. There's the toilet. Another old architecture sketch. I grabbed another transporter ticket. That one is for the number station, I believe. And just like in the original universe, we're going to need to come back here after we flick a bunch of switches, because that is going to lead somewhere for us. So, come back here at a later date. Also, Engine Proxy was the transport ticket that we picked up in the Clockwork Corridor. But next we will be going to the right side of the rift. Laser Junction Vertical Node. Alright, so we're on the other side of the void. This was originally called the Right Chasm, previous coordinates 614. Through here is the Lucky Room, coordinates 728. So in here, so this monolith was actually holding a transport ticket for us, which is, which one's that one? Laser Junction Horizontal Node. And the Lucky Room here is now a bit of a loop. But here we can actually use the plasma vial, open up another thing for us, leading us to the ladder release chamber, area code SZA. But we don't have a weight stone on us, so we're just going to need to remember this is here, so we can eventually completely explore the Ionic Hub portal. This just takes us back to there. There's another place. No, here. There's this. We saw something like it in Murtaugh's Communication Room, but we're gonna need some kind of disc, as it looks like. But that's everything we can do here for now. And I don't think there's... Ah, here we go. That is a ticket for the Architect's Study Room. Should be nothing in these drawers here, so we will move on to the Engine Proxy. Otherwise known as the Clockwork Room, previous coordinates 642, which doesn't really have a lot for us, but we are going to need another one of those discs. That being said, onto the number station. also known as the UVB76 room, coordinates 837. We have another transport ticket here. What does that say? Jammer system offline, parent station connection lost. We're gonna need another disk here. And that's giving us the same thing, but here we get a await stone. But nothing else we can do here, so we're gonna head to the architect's study room. Formerly known as just the study. Previous coordinates 628. Get those little lighthouse sketches. It's really cool. We get another transport ticket. That should be ship's brig. Pick up that valve there. I think that's everything in this version because we also have the alternate layer version, the Dharma Alcove. Area code GZB. And like last time, we're going to need to come back with some karmic water. So we'll have to remember that's there. In any case, we'll head to our next location, the laser junction horizontal node. And again, if it looks like I'm just randomly jumping around, I'm just basically going in places in roughly the order that we collected them. So there's that. Laser junction horizontal node. So we'll flick these on. That's two little lasers for us. And we picked up the pre-shift basement variant card. But we will be going to the cellar next. Where did we pick up the cellar? In the number station, that's right. Previously known as the Halloween room, coordinates 513, and it's still creepy as bowels. We get that stone plate. Another monolith opened up for another transport ticket. This one is the dead end. But here we also pick up the hallway caught in spatial anomaly transport ticket. That should be everything for us here. So next we're going to be going to the ship's brig. Also known as the barracks, coordinates 777. But we need some kind of access card, so we're not exactly getting very far here. So let's go and check out that pre-shift basement variant. Previously known as the Submachine basement, coordinates 840. And there's a few things for us here. Well, for starters, we're gonna need some kind of vial. For whatever that is. Like last time, we can go around and start flicking a bunch of switches. The thing that used to say Submachine doesn't now. Is it even the same symbols? No, I'm not sure. A big old clock. And another transport ticket. That one being the reception hall spatial loop. But just like in original universe, what we really want to do is go around and flick all those switches. We're going to remember we need another disc here. There's one there. Nice. Loving all the Aperture Science portal. Aperture Science coffee mugs around. Aha! Here is our one-use portal. Which leads us to the binary chambers, originally 950, because this portal here used to be just a binary combination. You could only have zeros and ones in it, much like the one in the exits. But here, we pick up brass hatch with triumph inscription on the wall ticket. The absolute mouthfuls of these names. But we activate that, and just like in original universe, that drops a ladder for us back in the Submachine's basement, which should allow us to get to our fourth and final switch, which is upstairs. Yeah, that one, because that ladder did not used to be there. We're gonna need to find that fourth switch, which again is over in here. Okay, I know it's resin, but it's seriously it just looks like blood. And it is disgusting. But we get a sigil. Alright. So next, we're gonna be caught. Yeah, Now, we may as well be caught in this place, the hallway caught in a spatial anomaly, because it's the Hell Loop. Coordinates 616. And again, just like last time, it's just an infinite loop going all the way around. Not as loud as last time, though. I do appreciate that. Anyway, time for the dead end. Previously called the Rusty Pit. Coordinates 002, where all that is here for us is this copper plate. Anyway, next is the Reception Hall Spatial Loop. Previously called the Cake Loop, coordinates 245. This is where we actually found a reference to a Submachine fan who had a Submachine themed cake with those very coordinates 245 written on them. And again, it is a loop, so nothing going for us. Not even in... Oh! A stabilizer fluid vial. Now it starts looping the other direction. Alright. Next, the brass hatch with Triumph inscription on the wall. Which is a pretty apt description, because it's this place. The Triumph there, which we need to activate elsewhere. Karmic Manipulation Museum Unit is next. And just to get it to stop glowing, Explorer's Home Unit is exactly what it sounds like. It's back at the lab facility. Anyway. This is not a returning area. This area is completely original. The moth there looks like it's got karma flowing through its antenna. Moth infused with karmic energy, circa 1795. God damn. Look at all the plants. Even the moss is glowing. But now we have this. These are mixing console settings. I think we're gonna like where we're gonna use them. We run out of stuff for now, but we do have a few items on hand. First thing we're going to do is going to head back to the right side of the rift. Into the lucky room. Back up to... Give me the right one, thank you. Back into the ladder release chamber, we can use this weight stone. Drop in that ladder. Now that we've done that, we are going to head back to... Where is it? Pre-shift transit station. Because now, there is a lot of things for us to do. Because there's, what, 6 karma portals around here? And a lot of them are actually blocked off by monoliths. So, you can see how it's very important that we went through and activated them all right away when we did. First of all, we'll collect this for the Roman Church Crypt. But let's start going through these from left to right. So, first up, the Purple Lever Room. Containing one of the levers we need to flick for Motar's Communication Room. Purple Lever Room was FAR. Also contains a transit ticket for the Prison Unit. Next up, the Pony Room, area code MLP. Guess why? But there's a little thing for us here. There's 2 lights, and well, we'd best try to activate those lights because maybe we get a thing. Next is the Gate Access Room, area code DEF. Here we will get the Route Surveillance Station ticket. And we need to go around and once again disable the primary and secondary security gates so we can get into there and access whatever the hell that is. Next up, the Fragment Field, part of the Jatsko cluster. That's just really cool. Area code JSK. Here, we're going to need to return here once we actually place the sigil in the right spot. Location connection not established. I see. But here, we can use our stabilizer fluid vial, create a portal, which takes us to Pyramidion. Area code LCR, which we're going to need to return to once we have a chest key of some description. The importance of drawing. Yes, this is one of the primary rules of exploration. Why? You see, drawing lets you see things. It lets you slow down, focus, tune into the surroundings. See details you'd never notice otherwise. But taking pictures and three-dimensional scans of locations lets you archive everything. Archive, yes. All those thousands of archived pictures gathering proverbial dust on surveillance data disks not seen by anyone since the day they were created. Taking photographs is the opposite of drawing. It forces you to stop looking at the object, puts a literal barrier between you and the thing you want to see. You take a picture and move on. But the amount of data saved is unquestionably of greater value. I don't care about data. If it were data we're after, we would just tap into the subbot route mapping system. We're looking for the human touch, human hand in the sea of silent data. I want someone to tell me, look at this. I found it and it's so important, I decided to spend my time drawing it. Nothing that can be done instantaneously has any value. Case in point, AI artwork. Stop that shit. Okay, look, I've used some AI artwork things myself, but it's only to screw around in. I'm not actually going to be making, like, getting an AI to make stuff for me past, hey, look what I did. It's like, no, I'm just using it to screw around. But even then, yeah, but AI everything is just a conversation for another day. Anyway, here we have the Infusion Parlor, KIM, which I guess could just stand for Karma Infusion Parlor. Anyway, here's our Karma Infusion Machine, which we're gonna need to come back once we have a little bit of chalk. But also, we've collected, what's that one? Karma Luminescent Cave Paintings. And last one, my favorite, the Prince Room. Area code NPG. There's Prince's Grammy. The guitars are different. I'm not sure if that little riff there is still from a Prince song or not. That's I'm drawing a blank on that one. There's his Oscar for Purple Rain. And here, his mixing table. Down, up. Right, so that is what we want, and that opens this with another transit ticket, which is Tilted Gravity Anomaly. Over here, we also have a transit ticket for Defense System Interface. That could be from anything. Anyway, this room's still cool. Again, I'm not sure if these new guitar riffs are actually from Prince songs, but the fact we still got the Oscar and the Grammy here, and of course, the Prince love symbol, it's just a really cool little tribute to Prince, because goddamn, back in the 80s, if you weren't talking about Michael Jackson, you were talking about Prince, because goddamn, what an artist. What an artist. And we all miss him to this day. Anyway, moving on from the sad stuff, Roman church crypts. Gone on from talking about dead people to going where dead people are. But hey, cats! With H and M, and this is missing a candle. And that is missing a disc. So we will be back here at a later point. Next is the prison unit. Previously called the Prison Cells 875, and the Roman Church Crypt was previously known as just the Church 218. Alright, so our door is open thanks to activating the monolith. I wasn't expecting that to work in any way, because obvious reasons. And in here, we have the orange lever room, area code FUR. Which in here, that's pretty cool. We have another switch for Motar's communication room, and another transit ticket for Cube Loop. Cube Loop. Next is the Route Surveillance Station. Previously known as the Radio Lab, coordinates 277. Here we get a little Karma vial. Please return Karma Vial after use. I very much doubt that's gonna happen. Surveillance grid unoperational. There's a lot of things we need to do to light all those up. What we need to do is place all these discs inside of these, because that's what they're for. They're all for surveillance recording. So, we're gonna need to get to work. And somewhere in here should be... There it is. Transit ticket for... Energy transition. Next... Karma luminescent cave paintings. Previously known as the Nazca Room 258, because the luminescent cave paintings are all of the Nazca lines, which are pretty cool. Alright, get another monolith active. The realization. I have to slow down. Time flies by too quickly. Yeah! Yeah, it does! It sucks! Anyway, that one was airplane wreck caught in spatial anomaly. So, you may, you may know what that is just from the sound of it if you played the original universe. But here we have the fragment extension, JTS, another member of the Jatsko cluster. It wasn't actually part of the loop of Jatsko rooms, but it connects directly to one, which is where we need to put this sigil. That was everything in that one, wasn't it? Yep. Anyway, down here. So this is... what's this called? Oh, right, this area is completely original. It's another level room for Murtaugh's communication room, but in the original, there was only 3 of them. So this one is completely new. But down here, the another cat statue with H and a candle. So we're going to be back here soon because that whatever that is not working. Anyway, so we'll be back to that at some point in the near future. Where are we going to next? Next is Defense System Interface. Previously known as the Subnet Editing Center 128. Yeah, well, coordinates 128. This is where we found that fan theory about, basically about the Subnet editing notes to make it seem like we were just not a pawn in Mer's game, a pawn in its game, kind of thing. Yeah, it was a really interesting and kind of creepy read back in the original, and I can still recommend going back to the original universe, mainly because of all those theories, and because it still works. It still works exactly for what it is. Anyway, we picked up a turbine blade. And plus, there are a bunch of locations that we're not going to be visiting here in the Shattered Quadrant because there were a lot of locations in universe that were basically revisits of areas we visited throughout the series. Which there wasn't a whole lot of point in visiting them here because we just played them. Anyway. Laser Junction Vertical Node. Keep in mind those ladder rungs there, because that looks very reminiscent of somewhere else. Where we are now, originally called the Watchtower, area code RCR. Now, previously in original universe, all of the sketches and everything we'd find up here were actually, they were design diagrams for various locations throughout the series, which were really cool. I love seeing like kind of design diagrams like that. You want to look at some really cool stuff? Check out the design diagrams for like basically any Metroid game and just see how they piece all that stuff together. It's really awesome. But what we collected there was glowing pyramid transit ticket. So that does it for that one. So now we will head to the tilted gravity anomaly. Previously known as the Escher Room named after MC Escher, who made various artworks back in the day, all like this. Just very just surreal, no sense of gravity kind of things. The Escher room was originally coordinates 411. So down here, we have the ticket for the duality of unknown outcome. Okay, that doesn't sound like a location and more of, I don't know, someone going way too ham on the philosophy. Alright, this monolith opens up this karma portal for us, which this leads to the primary gate control, area code JVP, where we use our makeshift arc breaker, the soap, to take down one of the gates. I just missed a call from my dad. Hold up. Very, very ill-timed, Faja, but anyway. Alright, what the hell was I doing? I just put the soap in there. And... okay, so we are now going to the cube loop, which doesn't have anything here, but it's got a thing for us to read. I've heard stories. Well, not actually heard per se, I just read them on pieces of paper. I read that there are exploration teams. For the love of God, did he really send teams out here? What happened to those people? Where do their shattered bones lie right now? I know that everywhere I look, I'm probably just looking at bones. The subnet is everywhere. How many people had to die for him to gather the information he so dearly needed? Jesus. I never joined any exploration team. I never saw anybody. I'm not much of an explorer. If you tell me to do something, I will. But I see no point in exploring the infinity. Maybe that's why he chose me for the DefSys mission. Maybe that's the reason I'm back in the loop again. It's a house of mirrors. Everywhere I look, it's the same. That, I believe, is it's an edited version of what used to be that suicide note that we found on the mountainside. And now that I've said the S word, I'm now going to lose more money that I probably wasn't going to get in the first place. Thank you, YouTube. I hate you. Anyway, energy transition comes next. Oh yeah, the cube loop was also, it used to be called the cube loop. Coordinates 888. And thank you, Monolith, for giving us this stabilizer fluid vial. Energy transition here used to be called the laser room. Coordinates 157. And that's literally the only thing for us here. So, airplane wreck caught in spatial anomaly. Previously known as the Lost Plane, coordinates 815. Lost because it is a reference to the TV show Lost. There's the recurring string of numbers, 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. I still don't know a damn thing about this show, so I'm sure someone's getting something out of it, but there is actually something here this time. We need to put a disc into the surveillance thing. That's it. Oh yeah, and Morse code in the background spelling out Mayday. Anyway, next comes Glowing Pyramid. Previously known as the Ziggurat, coordinates 378. Monolith giving us a transit ticket, and us collecting one right here. What did we get? Pre-shift Lifehouse Ruins variants, and the arcade. Nice. And somewhere around here as well, we get a pyramid key. So when we go back to Pyramidion, we'll actually be able to open that lockbox. And this is just a completely original location here. This is going haywire. But this changes every time we flick this, and the sound effect should be familiar. I'm pretty sure we're just switching layers. Funnily enough, nothing happens here. I do not know what the purpose of this place is. It probably gives us like one place in all the Shattered Quadrant where we're actually able to swap between all 7 layers, but it doesn't actually do anything. I don't understand. Anyway, the duality of unknown outcome. Previously known as the broken clock room, because of a big old broken clock. It's really the only thing of note in here. So we do need to bring a disc here, and through this karma portal, we go to the blue lever room. Area code FSR. When did the architect start drawing lighthouses? You won't find this information in the archive. There was a time between grand design and small scale when he created an entire collection of lighthouse drawings. As I understand, he loved the design and function of those buildings. His admiration led him to explore and find them in the void. Notice how in these drawings he always adds a sea surrounding the lighthouse. Nobody really knows why. One theory states these structures were built close to large bodies of water in the olden days of the First Era. He always wanted to live in a lighthouse, however by some strange twist of fate, he never did. But Murtaugh did. Yes. Again, British just all that, the architect is just Skutnik. Not this way, not like this. We can do this. And new karma portal for us, which is really just warped this whole thing here. Which leads us to a brand new looping location. But there isn't actually anything here. You can search around all you want, this place has got nothing. Why is it here? God knows. But it's here. But back to things that actually do things. Next up is the pre-shift Lighthouse Ruins variant. Previously known as the Lighthouse Dungeon, coordinates 550. Okay, so we are revisiting one area that we explored during the game, but a portion of that area that we didn't actually see. It's a lighthouse-esque structure, but interesting. But what layer is this? I don't know. Kinda don't want to know. Cool. Cool. I'ma just borrow this indefinitely. Onto the arcade. Here we finally start picking up these discs, and the arcade here, it was previously known as the Escape from J.'s Games rune, coordinate 731. Made in reference to another game Skutnik made called Escape from J.'s Games, made in reference to the website J.'s Games. Now we can start putting discs in these surveillance things here. There. Let's use the valve, which gives us a dragon tongue. We're also going to need a switch here, just like in the original universe. Couple more of them. Some soap, because why not? Still no working plumbing. Insert coin. We don't ever get any coins. Alright, so we should have collected, in total, 10 discs. We used 1, and the soap. And the dragon tongue. Alright. But for the time being, we've explored every single transit ticket that we have so far, so let's start going back through and putting some stuff around. First I want to go... That doesn't have anything else for us, I'm pretty sure. So we'll go to the ancient section side aisle first, and immediately deposit our brand spanking new brass tongue. And since we've done that, the eye on this pony has lit up. We'll need to keep that one in mind. Next, oh, I actually do need to go to the pre-shift basement variant. Why did I go to that? I don't know. My notes is weird. Right, because in here we have another ring to use the stabilizer fluid for. Taking us to the arch wall, area code SPN. where we can deposit this stone plate, let it do its thing, and collect another sigil. Also here in the pre-shift basement, another surveillance thing to deposit a disc. Next, we'll be going to... where is it? Where is it? Pre-shift transit station. And we'll be heading up to the fragment fields. Wherever that was. Was it this one? No. No, but that does prove that that has lit up some stuff for us, so we're going to need to come back later. There it is. Now, tile. The tile hunt has begun, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, right, I still need to go to... because this should... Yep, Pyramidion. We will open this. And get our shutter switch for the arcade. Which is where I'm going to immediately revisit. We'll use our brand spanking new shutter switch. Go through here. To yet another new location. It's got some old-timey cave paintings on the wall there. But we also collected a transit ticket for Ancient Section Right Aisle. Which, is that where I'm going next? No, it's not. I'm going to the Stone Waterfall first for some reason. Specifically, to use this Karma Vial. Head up here to collect another transit ticket for the Ouroboros Ruins. Next, we'll be going to the right side of the rift again, because we need to go back to the Lucky Room. Which side was it? It was the other one. Where are you? There you are. And use this disc. Next on our adventures, we'll be heading to the Airplane Record and Spatial Anomaly to deposit yet another disc. Next, we're going to be going to Murtaugh's Observatory Unit, as we have now pulled all 4 switches and can go through here to the Resin Room. Area code CAT. Got nothing to do with cats, but that's what it is. Anyway, Cathedral Ruins tickets. In here we'll find the lever handle, which we will immediately use over here. Do not use during rain. Thank God it's not raining. And through there, we get to the Aeolic Corridor, area code AEL, which pretty much the only purpose here is to use the turbine blade and activate the edge filtration system. Which is not where I'm going immediately next. Because, I don't know, I just gotta put my trust in my notes that I actually knew what I was doing. Which is very... very dangerous. Actually, no, we are going straight to the edge filtration corridor. Never mind. That's not the right... Back to Stone Waterfall. In through here. Alright, now everything is nice and clear. We can breathe the air. And collect another transit ticket for the Laser Junction Infiltration Station. That's just fun to say. And in through here to the Plant Research Center, area code THB. Down here, we'll collect the Karmic Vessel. Another transit ticket. Mathematical Museum Unit. Sounds riveting. And another one, thank you, Monolith, for the left side of the rift. We are now being able to access a lot more places. And the first one we're going to be immediately going to is the Laser Junction Infiltration Station, where we will use this disc. This used to be known as the Winter Room, coordinates 316, where we're going to need to activate some more lasers. We've gotten both the horizontal ones, but we need to get the vertical ones now. Nice views of out in the distance. Next, we'll go to the left side of the rift, previously known as the Left Chasm, even more previously known as the Void, because it scares me. We are going to need to come back with some more stabilizer fluid. Here is one of our vertical lasers. But it's only one of them. We need to activate a second one, because if I go back to the Laser Junction Infiltration Station, yeah, so you're the only one. Alright, so next, the Ouroboros Ruins. Very familiar place. Familiar usually for being the very first area that you'd normally go to in the original universe. Like, this place's coordinates, which were 051, this was previously known as the Ouroboros Tunnel, was the very first set of coordinates that was given to us at the beginning of universe. Just a couple of sketches there of some stuff we can find around. Insert that copper plate up to here, taking us to the Quiet Rooms. Area code WIQ. Which, I believe, world is quiet. I think it's a reference to Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events. A lot of the just behavior we're finding around here is more reminiscent of Ratman from Portal. Okay, we find some chalk and a couple of things to read. I'm alone. It wasn't like this in the past. There used to be so many theorists throughout the entirety of the Outer Ring. I remember my friends, people I worked with closely on my exploration team, people from other teams that we were in contact with. People were exploring eagerly. Each new thing was fueling our minds, letting us theorize about the laws of physics governing the structure. But now, the world is quiet. I don't know what happened. I don't remember much, but I think a shift happened. However, shifts don't impact human minds. That's what they said. So there are two possibilities. Either we were lied to, or something much worse happened. Because everyone is gone but me. I don't know why I was the only one spared. I don't like it. I don't like that there's so much surveillance equipment all around. It didn't used to be like that. I guess the net is pushing back, trying to end the infestation. Infestation. I haven't heard that tone for so long. But now, since everyone is really gone, I think it's time to accept that the old agreements have expired. But my mind is cloudy. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I can only theorize. Damn. The theory of everything. Preamble, this theory of everything is dedicated to all my friends that disappeared. I want to remember all their theories. I want to create a unifying theory based on all their input. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it, but I'll try. Section smudged beyond readability. Assumption. Submachine is not desolate. It is not empty. It's actually full of explorers. However, once you use a portal, transporter, transportal, or any kind of teleportation device for the first time, you phase into one of the infinite sub-layers derived from the 8 main layers. You're close to other people, but not quite there. So if you visited the lab and use that transporter, it's too late for you. Once the net opens up for you, it removes your chance of meeting anyone else. Except for Murtar, of course. He can grab you at any time. Speaking of Murtar, his role in the Great Picture was not as significant as the archivists are trying to tell you. Even though he spent 32 years exploring the subnet, he was operating only in one cluster. Karma range has its limits, and at some point, the void distance between clusters reaches a size that even he couldn't traverse. The singularity happened to him as it did to all of us. He did not create it. In his travels, he did not see the engine. There is a lot of stuff going on. So again, it kind of confirms in the 32 years Murtaugh was exploring the net, there are places within the subnet he simply cannot reach, even with his karmic abilities. He really wants to find the engine, but it's sounding like he can't. But this is basically just confirming here that people just end up on the infinite sublayers at any time, and really the only one you can find after that is Mer. And Liz. And Einstein. But yeah. It all gives you a lot to think about, really, with the nature of, you know, everything else that possibly could have happened. Cursor? Right. Okay. I thought the cursor wasn't working for a second there. Jesus Christ. So much noise. I can't take it. There is no noise, though. Even you said the world's goddamn quiet. I don't know what this is. Wait, where's the ladder? If only I had Karma Chalk, I'd be able to draw it. Well, we're gonna have some soon. And here, another portal. I didn't do it. You can trust me, you know that. Can I, though? Anyway. Here, we lead to the cake room. Area code PTL, because this place was just a big old portal reference, and it still is. We have a, a tiny weighted companion cube. It's fantastic. Skutnik does like his portal references. Anyway, we're going to have to return here at a later point with some Karma Chalk. So for now, I'm going to head back out of here, and we're going to travel to the Mathematical Museum unit. Previously known as the Pi Room. Like the Hell Room, the Hell Loop. Well, actually, the Hell Room and Hell Loop weren't secret areas as of the final version of the universe, but Hell used to be. And the Pi Room and the Lost Plane were both secret areas that there were no coordinates around pointing to. However, here they both are here, plain as day. There's Pi to, I don't know, a large digit. Not as large as the one in the original, but can't really be bothered calculating pi. And that's not even the old Chinese text anymore. That's something completely different. Interesting. Alright, next, where is it? I have me going to the number station, which I may as well do on the way through because I need to deposit one disc. So we've gone through a little over half of them now, so we're getting somewhere. Next to the cathedral ruins. Previously known as the End Ruins, coordinates 580, where we can pick up this ticket for the surveillance station. And there's nothing really else for us here. Cross-section of Skylight Atrium. That's pretty cool. Alright, next. The Roman Church Crypt. 4, we have a candle. And we have a disc. Next, the Duality of Unknown Outcome, where we will be using, shock horror, another disc. Next, the Engine Proxy, which, once again, you're not going to believe it, we're going to be using another disc. How many we got left? 1. Very nice. Anyway, finally, we're going to check out the ancient section right aisle. Previously known as the excavation site, coordinates 992, which we are going to need another brass tongue. So, did you ever catch me after all? You know there are 7 answers to that question, my dear Liz. I guess there would be. Would there, though? Because there's only one Liz. You wouldn't see 7 versions of Liz across the layers, but I don't know. Liz is confusing. Anyway, surveillance station. Previously called the Watch Station, coordinates 712. Nice pyramids. Or pyramid, and just surveillance station unoperational. Surveillance station standing by. Because we have now inserted all of the discs, and we're good to go. So with that, we are going to head back to the root surveillance station, in which depositing all those discs has lit up all this, giving us the brig key. With that, we will head back to the ship's brig. Insert said brig key, and through this portal to the photographer's quarters, area code HBL. Real quick, I'm going to use this sigil here. No, they're just both portals anyway. Anyway, this is the spike room. Coordinates WRT, but remember, we saw this in the background, back of the watchtower. And there's our other laser. Seriously, still some Assassin's Creed level parkour going on there. Anyway, wait. That's big satellite dish. This way. This is the rabbit hole. Area code SBL. I believe this was the place that was used to commemorate a user on... I can't remember if it was the Pastel Forum or Skutnik's fan forum, if they're even different things in the first place, who made, I think, 10,000 posts, which, goddamn, that is some dedication, dude. On Karmic Infusion. Excerpt from the book of Second Age Mechanics, written by an anonymous architect of the Sudden Bay Monastery approximately 10 to 15 years after the Singularity. The biggest questions facing scientists of that era were naturally concerning the Karma Crystal. Once discovered as the origin of Karmic water in Kent, the question was, is it possible to infuse plain water, with Karmic characteristics outside the natural environment? Is it possible to perhaps infuse other materials, other objects? Since infusing water turned out to be quite easy, and there was no known solution for infusion of other materials yet, they thought of a crude workaround. They were able to infuse objects that could absorb Karmic water. That meant you could have Karmic clothes, sponges, chalk, flammable arrowheads, etc. What's interesting is you could also create Karmic plants by watering them with Karma-infused water. There was a number of Karmic-infused machine prototypes throughout the years. As we mentioned before, the procedure was rather simple and techniques were further developed from the late 20s up until June of 42, when the first commercial machine was released to the public, rendering Karma vendor parlors obsolete. To learn more about Karmic infusers, please refer to yada yada. Yeah. We just keep on learning more about how Karma is used and how it's infused into a lot of things. It's really, really interesting and really, really cool. Anyway, this seems to lead to just... It's an alternate version of the Solemn Column. It's actually probably closer to the original design of the Solemn Column, because the thing about areas in the Jatsko cluster are they are largely areas either connected to Jatsko or that he designed himself. This one he made as an absolute joke, right? Just a little column out in the middle of the void. No ladders, no nothing. This chain and this board were clearly added here after the fact. But, good sense of humor. The micro loop experiment. That's impossible. Nothing has changed. The coordinates are the same, yet everything is gone. There's nothing there now. I can't see anything. Don't worry. He sees you. That's all you need to know. I don't understand. You don't have to. Just accept it. I won't make the same joke I did last time. But with that, let us move back on out of here. And out of here. And out of here to our brand new location, the micro loop experiment. Previously known as the Violet Loop, coordinates 555, where it is a 2-room loop in every direction and contains absolutely nothing. So, let's go back and start doing a bit more backtracking. So, the Karma Luminescent Cave paintings. If you recall, we need to go, I think it was down here. To the cat statue here with the H. Now that we have that candle in the crypt, we can activate this. Which means what we should do now is make our way to the other cat statue, which was back at the human machine data collecting interface. In the back corner through the karma portal. And here we go. Which now gives us a ticket for the asylum loop. And so with said asylum loop, I'd like to welcome you all once again to solitary confinement. Yep, previously known as solitary confinement, coordinates 923. I love the old loop music. I really cannot stress how much the ambience and tone of the loop has grown on me, at least over the last few months. Damn, it's good. Anyway, we can go through here, leading to the snow room. Area code CHR, where we get another valve and a nice little tree. I believe. Yeah, everything up here is just a loop. So now we're going to head to the laser junction infiltration station. Now that we've activated all 4 lasers, which gives us this cube password packet. That's different. And now, since we have another stabilizer fluid vial, we're going to head back to the left side of the rift and use that down here, leading us to the mountain, MNT, where we originally found the dastardly note. But here, we'll still power up this thing here. Not with a wisdom gem anymore, with an energy crystalline shard. But this time, it doesn't require us to go all the way back to our quarters to open up this. And still inside, someone's little hideaway and a tongue. Now, am I using that tongue immediately? Why, yes. Yes, I am. Back to the ancient section right aisle, where we'll use that there, lighting up this pony statue. Now, that should be both the pony statues lit up, so we are going to head back there via, where is it? I keep losing it. The pre-shift transit station. It was this one, wasn't it? Yes! Which gives us a new ticket to the Hindi Temple Aisle. So we'll head there immediately. Previously known as the altar, coordinates 966, where originally this would lead us directly to the observatory and our ticket out of here. The Iron Triumph Loop. Fathom a guess. But we also get this nice, this lever handle, and a brand new location with nothing actually for us here, except this text here. Numerical transporters were removed from circulation after link rot extended to over 18% of location addresses. What caused that link rot? Structural shifts and spatial anomalies. And time, naturally. How come they still work in the lab and root sections? The root is omni-layered in a founding stone of the Royal Perseverance Act. The lab is rot resistant due to its direct proximity and linkage to the root. Interesting. So basically the root is just gonna stay how it is till the end of time. That's history for you. But before we go to the Iron Triumph Loop, I'm actually going to go to Ouroboros Ruins, as we are going to head back through the quiet rooms and draw us. I was supposed to infuse the chalk. Damn it! Here we are. Put that in there. Infuse. Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna draw ourselves that ladder. Nice. And through here, this leads to the observatory, where our trip to endgame is going to begin. The observatory, original area code OBS. So we'll just deposit our tile while we're here. Use this lovely lever handle to get us an even lovelier ladder. Up here to the pump room, area code TBK, where, much like before, we're gonna bust the pipe. And did I say we're gonna bust the pipe? I mean, the pipe is gonna bust completely on its own because, as we know, I'm completely innocent of any and all things that happen around here. Anyway, another tile, and we fill up our karmic vessel with karmic water. We'll just deposit tile A while we're here. Now it's just a couple more places that we have to visit. Firstly, to the architect's study room, where we will head to the Dharma alcove and use our karmic water and just toss away the karmic vessel for some reason. In through to the lavender room, area code LAV, where we use our cube password packet to head up into this, whatever the hell it is, and collect our third tile. Next, we'll be heading to our only location we haven't touched yet, the Iron Triumph Loop. Previously known as the Stone Loop, coordinate 006. Where the only thing for us to do here is insert this valve. And, yeah, this was a Triumph. Brass hatch with Triumph inscription on the wall. Where finally this is open for us. A new Karma portal. And use the soap in here. This being the Mufa complex. Area code GLO. Alright, so that's both security case disabled. We are almost there. Back to the pre-ship transit station. To the gate access room was here? Here. Now, we can go through here. And through another portal to the false loop. Area code BRG. Now, there used to be some text around here giving you a clue of what to do, but while it seems like a loop, it's actually not. It's just a really long corridor. Where we will find tile... Was it B or D? I don't know. We'll find a tile at the very end. So now... Well, it's time for endgame, isn't it? Back through the Ouroboros ruins, through the quiet rooms, to the observatory. And we'll deposit our final two tiles. Moving on up. And of course, moving on out. Look at that! There's actual people around! And with that, we have completed the Shattered Quadrant. This is the Advanced Researcher's exit. You have my utmost respect for getting there. I hereby promote you to the rank of Senior SubNet Researcher. The assignment is done, however questions linger. You might have theories, by all means share them. Submachine has no more secrets that you could find, no more puzzles to solve. In this subnet cluster, that is. See you in Submachine, the engine. Which is exactly where we'll be meeting again in the Submachine world. What a game. I've gone at length before about my love of this series, and Legacy here has everything I love about all of Submachine and so much more. I know I didn't go into anywhere near as much detail as I did the first time around, but That's what the original Let's Play is for. This was about celebrating Submachine turning 20 years old, celebrating a good old trip down memory lane, and just having a good time with it, you know? I've said it before, I'll say it a million times over till the day I die. I love Submachine. I've replayed Legacy more times than I can count since it came out because it is Submachine. It is everything that is Submachine and more. And we're not even finished because there are still more mysteries to solve, more adventures to have, which, well, bring on the engine. But in any case, this has been my 20th anniversary celebration of the Submachine series with the amazing Submachine Legacy. Next time we meet in the Submachine universe, it will be for Submachine the engine, and I won't be waiting over 2 years to actually play it this time. But in any case, thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, guys, my name is Matt Omega, and I'll see you guys later.